So welcome to my video on compound interest. So I'm going to show you how to increase by a certain amount every single year. It could be every single month sometimes, but I'm going to stick to every single year for now. As you get more advanced, you can switch it to every single month. It doesn't change much. So let's say I always give out this example. So let's say I had £100, and if I get if my £100 went up by 10%, now 10% of 100 is going to be £10. So if this is year, let's say this is the start, year one, let's just say, okay, we'll go year one, I have £100, okay? How much would I have in year two? I will have £110. It's gone up by £10. Okay. How much would I have in year three? Now, the common misconception is I'm going to have 120, but you're forgetting one thing. 10% of 110 is £11 because you now got a bigger number. So you're going to have 10% of a bigger number, which is now going to be £11. So next year I'm going to be £121, and then this one is going to be 10% of this is now going to be £12.10. So as you can see, it kind of gets tedious. So what do we do about this? So what we do about this is we always write it like this. So I always write the start value, whatever you start with, okay, and then I put a bracket and I put 1. Now I'm either going to plus or minus, depends if I'm going up or I'm going down. So if you buy a car, it sometimes goes down in price every single year, unless you get a classical car. Okay. By the percentage as a decimal. So I'll write a little decimal over there. So you got to write the percentage as a decimal to the power of n. Now the n is the number of years, unless your rate is the number of months. So sometimes you're going up by 5% a month. But in this case, let's just stick to we're going up by a percentage per year. Now, if you want any examples of this, you could check out my website. I do free live lessons and one-to-one tuition. But let's go with a question. So let's say I had 80,000. I bought an £80,000 home, and the housing market is doing pretty well. It's going up by 20% a year. Okay, per year, it goes up 20%. How much would I have in 5 years? Okay, that's the question. So my start value is 80,000. Times by, this is why I always teach my percentages like this, because it kind of builds up. You do 1 plus, now 20% as a decimal. 20% as a decimal, you just divide it by 100, 0.20, and you got 5 years. So you put it to the power of 5. So you do 80,000. I like to do it step by step. 1.2 to the power of 5, which is going to give me an answer of 199,000 and £65 and blah, blah, blah pence. But I'm just going to write it like that for now. Okay. And that is my answer. Now let's do the flip side. Let's do it if I was decreasing instead of increasing. So my start value, let's say I bought a car, £50,000. So my start value is 50,000 times by 1. And let's say I'm going down by 10% each year. So instead of adding this time, I'm going to write minus. I'm going to write 0.10 because that is what 10% is as a decimal. Just divide it by 100. 0.10, and I got it to the power of 8. So 50,000 times by 0.9. Why did I write 0.8? Write 0.9 to the power of 8, and that will give me an answer of £21,523, and that is my rate. Now, like I said, I got worksheets on this, but I'm going to now go on to something a bit more challenging. So in some questions, what they expect you to find out is the rate at which you're going up by. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I bought a house for 150,000, okay? And after 8 years, the price of the house is now 221,618. So what they want me to figure out is how much has the house gone up by each year. So this is kind of tackled by a reverse percentage, which I'll make a video about. So it's 150,000. I'm not going to go through reverse percentages at the moment, but I don't know what I'm timesing by. You could write it if you want to. You could write it a lot different, but I'm just going to for now, just write a question mark. And I want to write 221,618. There's several different ways of going about it. Now that question mark is 221,618 pence, 618, divided by 150,000. And that gives me an answer of 1.4774. I try and keep as many decimal places as possible. Okay. So I know I'm going up. Okay. So that question mark, I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to write 1 plus a certain percentage as a decimal. Okay. I'm just going to leave it like a question mark to the power of 8 years, because it went up by 8 years, should give me 1.4774. So the question is, how do I get this 1 plus that specific question mark? Well, what I could do is you could write it like this, 1.4774 to the power of, you reverse it. So instead of the power of 8, you do 1 over 8, and you get rid of that 8 by that. Now, what you should get is a answer of roughly 1 plus that question mark is 1.05. So I know that question mark is 0.05. And as a percentage, what is that? So that is going to be 0.05 times by 100, which is 5%. Now, this is a lot more tricky. Okay, and I admit it. And that's why I got worksheets on this. What I'm going to now show you is something else that sometimes comes out. A different type of question could be, let's say I have £200 and I make 10% a year. Okay. How long will it take me to reach £350 or over? Okay. Now, there's several different ways of working this out. The best way, I would say, is just do trial and error. So do 200 times by 1 plus 10% as a decimal, 0.1. We don't know how many years it's going to, so I'm just going to put it as question mark equals to. So we need to either get to 350 or greater. So this has to be greater or equal to 350. Don't worry about the sign, but I'm just writing it in a mathematical correct way of doing it, right? 200 times by 1.1 to that equals 350 or greater. Okay, let me put greater or so forth. Okay, and all I'm going to do now is write some numbers. So the first number I'm going to try, let's just try the number 5. So 200 times by 1.1 to the power 5. And that gives me an answer of 322. So I'm getting awfully close right now. So what I'm going to just do, I'm just not going to think about it too much. I kind of already can see, but 1.1 to the power of 6. If we try it to the power of 6. And when I get to power 6, I get 354. So that is where it just gets over. So my answer is to the power 6. Okay. And like I said, I got some free live lessons and worksheets on this. Check out my website. Like the video if possible. Subscribe and take care.